there. Rita, you're welcome to hang up. I think me and Anthony will talk
Okay.
for just a few more
Yeah,
minutes,
we're
but
just
I appreciate you. We're just going to give some people some updates on what's going on and
All
everything.
right.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah,
Ooh, last 2 days have been kind of
it's been
just
heavy. Yeah,
heavy.
it's been real heavy. I really, really hope that these people we talk to do reach back out, keep us updated
Yeah.
on their story, and we can share their story with everybody else. Like these are like again, we've said this I'm sure quite a few times on the show before. We have these conversations for a reason. We could talk about the nitty gritty and the minutia of politics all day long, or the philosophy behind how we should operate our society. Those are important conversations too, but it really doesn't amount to a hill of beans if we can't even get over our own selves, get out of our own ways to have the conversations with the people in our own living rooms.
Yeah.
Like those are the people that you need to be talking to first before you go trying to save the world and fix all the world's problems. You need to be able to talk to the people in your own household,
Well,
in your
and
your own circle. You know.
yeah, and I'm starting to realize that there are so many similar patterns to these guests that we have on that deal with some sort of addiction. I am really struggling with that word tonight. It blows my mind that people kind of fall into this lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, the broken homes, the parents, and just the way they raise their children, and the abuse that goes on. I mean, that is just, I can't even imagine that being a young child or even a little girl and being sexually abused, and because that really kind of sets the catalyst to everything that's going to happen for years on down the road.
Exactly.
And that's got to be a scary thought to have. But with every darkness there is light, and with that being light is having guests on that have been 21 months clean.
Yeah.
Who.
Yeah, that's nothing to shake a stick at. I can
No.
totally understand how hard that is.
Yeah, that
That's-
is. You got to wonder if she struggles with that daily, waking
oh,
up every
imagine.
day,
I imagine, yeah.
and the choices you have to make, as we often talk about on the show, that affect our daily lives and future. People get up and they're just doing good to get through the day to make sure that they don't relapse. We're
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
through the day just to make sure we pay our bills. They're trying to make sure that they're not going to OD or relapse and let family members down, let friends down. That's such a huge burden kind of carry sometimes. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, and it really doesn't help that when you have these broken home relationships, these destructive childhoods, you
Man.
like there's no shortage of drugs around. There's no shortage of alcohol and abuse and sexual abuse. Especially. Oh my God, that's like
That
it
seems to
breaks
be-
my it breaks my heart when I hear that stuff going on. I
You
hope
got 3 girls.
I have 3 girls and a boy.
Mhm.
I hope to God nothing's ever happened to them. As far as I know, nothing's ever happened to them.
Right.
I've kept them sheltered and protected from people who I might think would have the capacity to do that.
Right.
I never bring anybody around the house. I never expose them to people that I feel like might be that kind of person.
Right.
I'm pretty good about identifying creeps.
But we're also realizing too how much this goes on within our own families.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was talking about a cousin.
Yeah,
I've
her own
heard
cousin.
I've heard.
And
other
then it got
people
swept
talking
under the
about
rug.
that. Yeah,
Because
no big deal.
what's ironic is that kind of shit gets swept under the rug, because all of a sudden mom and dad's worried about their reputation,
Yeah.
or whatever the case is. They don't want that negative light on their
No.
household, and it's like that seems to be the common way these things are handled. I don't understand that. I really don't.
They're so worried about the reputation. Nobody's dealing with the one that actually committed the sexual assault.
Right. And oftentimes
What the hell?
they even feel like it was their fault, or like somehow they deserved it.
It blows my mind how much people are so easily persuaded into thinking that something that happened to them is now their fault. The manipulation behind that is unbelievable.
Well, part of it goes back to what I was saying before about how bullies can identify the weaklings.
Right.
Like think about this. How much trouble can a pedophile get into for molesting a child?
Right.
How much are they putting on the line for making that move and going ahead and taking the action? Thoughts are one thing, but to take the action, boy, you were taking a big risk, because even there's huge penalties from a legal standpoint.
Right.
There's huge penalties from a societal standpoint.
Right.
There's huge penalties from even if you do end up in jail. Like they don't look kindly on that.
No.
You've heard what happens to pedophiles
Yeah.
in jail,
There's
right?
a lot of them in there that
So
don't like
you
them,
think
yeah.
about that. If I'm, if a pedophile is sitting there trying to identify their victim, they know that person will never say nothing, and in fact, they may even blame themselves for it. Like it's a sure thing. It's like 100% sure thing. I will not get in trouble for this in their minds,
Yeah, and it seems like the longer we do this show and the more people we meet, it psychologically, I mean, it I wouldn't say it gets to you, but it opens your mind and it opens your eyes to things that you often read about or you see other people talk about online or in other videos. But then now we're kind of diving deep into that. We're becoming the ones asking the questions, hearing the stories, legit from people that we've become friends with.
It's totally different from when you see the statistics and the numbers and things like that
Yeah.
versus when you actually get into the stories of like the atrocities, the legit real shit
Statistics just
leads into those
yeah,
statistics.
because the statistics just give you the obviously numbers, but you don't know this backstories. You don't know if it's a family member, if it's a friend, if it's a stranger. You don't know if it's. I mean, you just don't know, and that's why it's so important that we do this show, and that's why it's so important that we have these conversations. And hopefully Rita can have her conversations with her husband and with her mom and with her dad. I really hope that for her. I really hope that she has those, because something I was picking up on, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost has seemed as if she's almost terrified of herself, meaning that she's afraid to have those conversations because she doesn't want to upset people. And she's kind of her own worst enemy by not having those conversations. And because she's not having them, I think she might be preventing herself from furthering her sobriety maybe a little bit, kind of having the conversation with her husband about making, a move to, have a change of scenery and a fresh start and a new job, new friends. And to me, all those things are beneficial. So why wouldn't you want that? You know what I'm saying?
Because everybody else in her household doesn't want those things.
Right.
They're comfortable. They like where they're at. The kids are going, I like my school. I like my friends. You know what? Sometimes you got to make those tough decisions. You got to make those tough moves. I liked my friends. I moved a few times. I was happier every single time I moved. Like it was just the kids, they may be scared. They don't know what's on the other side. They may not even realize because all this is normal to them. They don't understand how different it could be. They don't have that thing to compare it to. So for mommy to move out of this situation and to just get clear of her head of everything else that's going on, kids get to see mom making changes. Kids get to see a strong, independent woman doing what she needs to do, making those executive decisions to make the changes, and that will have such a huge impact on them kids. They may disagree with it now and go, "Oh, I hate you, Mom."
They won't understand as to why now, but
so I can't stand you. You can't. You're making me leave my friends. I hate you.
I got to start a new school.
You may get some shit like that, but ultimately,
you're thinking long term.
Yeah, you see, as the adult. And having the cognitive ability to see down the tunnel of time, the kids don't have that yet. They see what they have, and all they've known. That's all they see. They see this one little picture. That's it.
Yeah, they see this short little time span of which they've had of life.
Yeah,
and they're not seeing what we have already seen.
And
in
it's
the
normal
last
to
30,
them.
40 years.
Yeah, and it's normal to them, and they're like, "Oh, this is fine. We're cool. We're not in danger. We're not like dying or anything." But they don't realize how much better it could be.
Right.
So of course they're going to fight it because they're scared too.
Right.
And you got to be there to like say, "Hey, listen, this is what might happen. This maybe I've moved to. To explain your stories, that kind of thing." And I think the kids will they'll come on board. They'll come on board with it. They'll understand, and they'll see.
And sometimes it's okay to be selfish and say, "I need a new, fresh start."
Yeah.
Where she's always trying to please others and do for others, maybe she needs to reel this in and say, "You know what? For the first time in my life, I need to do this for me." And if it costs you in the long run.
I've met a lot of people pleasers, and it never ends well.
No.
Especially the ones that are just like 100%, yes, sure, walk all over me, I'll do it. My mom struggled with that for years. That was something that she went through for forever, was just people pleasing all the time. And it was quite refreshing to see she did go quite the opposite polar end for a little while, but she kind of
Yeah.
found that she kind of found her stride, and where
Yeah.
she's taking care of herself, doing what she needs to do, but also seeing that other people are, she's not a people pleaser now, but
Yeah.
she's more healthy, I guess. Is
I just,
like she's actually going to college and
Yeah.
and learning how she wants to be a nurse, and
I'm friends with her on Facebook.
yeah,
so.
yeah, she's doing great, and she's so excited. She called me the other day, talking, bragging about her B+ she got on her assignment, and she's so because she's understanding that I'm not as stupid as I always thought I was. I'm not as dumb as my dad always told me I was.
Yeah.
And she's learning that, and she's growing. And I think for Rita tonight, she can have a lot of those same things if she just continues down this path and
Right.
and stops trying to be such a people pleaser.
And I think with a move like this for them to move somewhere different, it opens up new opportunities for a new circle of friends.
Right.
And to start surrounding yourself with those that are not going to encourage the behaviors of drug, or alcohol abuse. And she has a lot on her plate. I mean, first things first, she needs to hit the 2-year mark. In my opinion, she needs to reach that milestone. And then she probably needs to start working on the communication skills with her parents, and then obviously with her husband, and probably with her children. She's got a lot of work cut out for her. I would love nothing more.
Sorry.
I would love
Who did that? Who did that?
I would love nothing more than say a year from now to see where
Sorry,
she's
everybody
at.
was watching was just suddenly woke up like,
Yeah.
oh, all 5 people that are sleeping on our stream right now.
I get told so many times because of my voice, because it is so deep, I put people to sleep, and I'm like,
It's a
shit.
very relaxing voice.
I've been told.
All of a
this.
sudden, my dumbass smacks a button and wakes everybody up.
Hey, welcome
So,
back to the show.
Hey, you guys have been watching. So yeah, I this wasn't planned. This little postmortem that we're doing afterwards.
I kind of like
but,
this because
know,
it kind of gives us a chance to review who we've had on the show,
Yeah.
and I know it carries on a little longer than normal, but I do like this though. I like the chance for us to discuss who we just had on or the topic we just had when it's not just you and I on the show. I do like this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty cool.
I was just trying something new, and I figured you just flow with it. So I hope the people that were watching enjoyed it too. I mean, they hung in there for us. Yeah. Again, if you guys have been watching the Unframe of Mind show, and wow, like I said, heavy episodes. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit lighter. We're going to be talking to a guy that's running a protest out here
to
about
reopen Tennessee.
Right, so that's going to be interesting. I'd like to see what his thoughts are on that. I've got some of my own thoughts that I've been kind of slowly but surely putting together. There's just been so much.
We're starting to see a lot of these protests pop up.
Yeah,
everywhere.
and and
the one up in Michigan's been pretty brutal.
People are starting to get restless, and I really get a feeling that money that came in the bank is only going to do so much to placate people, which is what it's really designed to do. It's to prevent riots.
We're humans.
Let's
we
be
need
real.
to social interact. We need to see our friends. We need to see our families. We need to go to church if we go to church. We need to be able to do the things that we have been so used to doing.
All right.
To
And
take that away from us.
We'll definitely get into all that tomorrow.
find
So
out
stay
more.
tuned tomorrow at
Yeah.
7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern for that. And we will be back tomorrow for the last
The
of
10 of
our
10.
10 shows in 10 days.
This has been fun,
marathon.
man.
It's been fun. It has been fun. A lot of work.
You have seen a lot of me.
I have seen a lot of you. I have seen
Can't
a
say
lot
that's
of
a
you.
good thing.
All right, y'all.
Whatever.
Have a good night. Well, let's see. Your feet are large, but it's not because your penis is large too.
Keep your pants dry and your dick wet. Have a good